Alright, fellow Kaijudo duelists, this is Chris here from Team Squeaky here at Kaijudo Central. Got a lot of stuff to go over this week, so kind of, give me a little bit of breathing room. Apologize for so much information kind of coming across. So first off, so the last video I did, I talked about part 2 for my Duel Day exclusive preview, and then I had gotten a card that I wasn't supposed to get, and so that card actually got shown today on Kaijudo.com. So Aiden did a wonderful job taking and previewing the card and releasing it. Really good card. I didn't play with a card called Emerald back in the day, but from what I hear, it was pretty legit. And now we just got it back with Kaijudo with Cyberlord Corral. I would tell everybody to go check online if you haven't played DM before. You might not know what Emerald does, so go check out on Kaijudo.com. Go to the preview section for the Cyberlord Corral. It's a 3-drop, 2,000 power Cyberlord that has Dragon Reflection's ability to basically exchange a card in your hand for one of your shields. So kind of simplifying, I'm not reading the exact ability, but totally sick. Very good for control decks, especially that want to get that shield blast down to be able to exchange out and do those things. So yeah, really good card. Glad Aiden got to sit there and spoil it. And for those of you that were wondering what that second card was, that was it. So next, let's talk about some other things that kind of got shown today. Let's start with the July Duel Days promo. Everybody knows it's a great ramp card. It's a kind of a staple for ramp. That is Sprout. So Sprout, turn 2, take the top card of your library, put it into your mana zone, right? We all kind of talked about wanting some foil cards of spells that we tend to play a lot. Well, this is maybe the beginning to it. It's also got the gold border to it, which I think is kind of cool. Definitely differentiating it out. I know a couple people I've seen online so far kind of talk about, well, why are they doing these cards in particular? Well, if you look at Magic the Gathering, and I'm sure this is going to start kind of working very similar to it now going forward, the F&M cards are Friday Night Magic cards that you get for playing Magic. They're reprints of current or older cards. They just come, they're foil, and they weren't foil before, or, and they come with different alternate art. So I think that's going to be the route that they're going to take and go going forward, which I have no problem with. Cool. Reprint in foil the staples that we all want, right? Logo Scan, Terra Pit, Stormspark Blast, all these different things, because me personally, when I played Magic, I would foil my deck up to no end. It may have cost me, an arm and a leg to take and do, but I did it. I loved foils, and now that I'm going to see some foils, for cards that I currently play now, that's going to be really kind of cool to sit there and have. I think it's a great idea. The only thing that I would ask Wizards is that if you're going to do that, if we could get alternate art for these cards, that would be awesome. That would be the only thing that I would ask. Getting them foil is cool. Getting them foil with some alternate art to differentiate them would be even better. That would be my request, and I think that would be every player's request if you're going to be taking and doing this particular piece. It's a great idea. I love it. I wasn't too enthralled with the whole thing of why get a creature that's not in a set, just because you tend to thin those out, and as we get more and more of a larger player base, that can tend to maybe push those players away, especially if you start giving cards in Duel Days or set premieres that people don't go to or whatever, or can't get to, and these cards, if they're cards are going to be really shaping the meta, so to speak, was not a big fan of that particular piece. Personally, I'd rather those cards come out into the sets, but you know, doing it this way of reprinting staples and that, whether it's a creature, whether it's a spell, whatever, I think it's going to be totally legit. That's just my personal opinion. I'm very happy to actually sit there and see that based off of my Magic the Gathering experience and seeing that they're taking that piece and now kind of looking at it towards Kaijudo, which to me makes perfect sense. That makes sense. So, yeah, really good. Go check it out. It's on their Facebook. Now, next thing that kind of got released today by Wizards is in July we're going to get what's called an Elite deck. This thing's really cool. Go check out on Kaijudo.com, right? It's going to be a 40-card all foil deck, right? And the appearance is that it's going to be Water, Darkness, Fire because it revolves around the 3 major characters from the cartoon series. That being Scaradouble of Gloom Hollow, Tatsurian, and Reef Prince Glurgle. Alright? To me, that seems pretty cool. On the front of it, it showed some cards that obviously we've never seen before, with the new Scaradouble, with the new Tatsurian, and with the new Reef Prince Glurgle. You did see a dual Civ card that was Darkness Fire. Don't know exactly what that is, but that could be kind of cool. And then off to the side, if you look way to the back, there's a foil Tornado Flame. That seemed pretty legit to me to sit there and be inside of there. I'm hopefully, you know, personally, I want to sit there and get foil Terra Pits, foil Logo Skin, which could be all part of Duel Days. I'd be completely cool with that, right? Foil Veil Vortex. And yeah, the Tornado Flames are cool. You know, they're great targets to take out Herald with. You know, and all those little bit of smaller creatures that are out there. Herald's definitely the target for that if I ever get a hold of it. If I'm playing in a deck that's got Herald's of Infernus' name written all over it. But yeah, that's for a different story another time. But I thought that was kind of cool because I remember bringing this up in previous videos, previous posts on Twitter, Facebook, and whatever about bringing decks like this out. They already do that over in Japan with Duel Masters, and that's how they get their non-foil cards that come in a set into foil that way. A good example is Acadius Knights. I think that's what it's called for DM, because a lot of that particular, and the only reason I'm naming that one is because there's a deck I love in DM that I found on TCO called War of DNA Spark. I absolutely love that deck. But those cards, and the majority of those cards, come inside of that deck and they're foiled out, which is really cool. There's a foil Terra Pit, just all types of stuff. And I think that if they do this particular piece with Kaijudo, I think it's going to be really good. I think if they release like one every set or one every other set would be pretty legit. I mean, yeah, they got the competitive decks, and you keep those down to the $12 range, right? You get the one foil inside of it, and then you kind of got a deck for someone who's just getting into the game, start up. It's still kind of competitive, right? And they can kind of sit there and learn the game and move along and increase their stuff. Now you got this big guy over here, too, right? That you want to pay... I'm guessing this thing's going to be like $24.99 personally. Could it be only $19.99? Yeah, but cool. You want to pay $25. Now you got a deck that's ready to take and go. And actually, that makes sense. $24.99 because that's the Magic the Gathering decks. I forget what the heck they're called. Crap. They're pre-made competitive decks. They're a lot better than the starter decks. I'm having a brain fart. But that would make sense. That would definitely make sense. $24.99 for this particular deck. Yes. I could see that coming now that I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about it. Definitely having a brain fart about what those decks are. Event decks. There we go. So yes, I see that being a thing. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let me move on from that. Sorry, guys. That took a little bit of thought, but yeah, I can see this thing be $24.99 because they want it to sit there and be the event deck versus the starter decks. That makes I can see that happening. Quote me on that, because I'm pretty sure that's what it's going to be, and none of them thinking about it. All right, moving along from that. Right, so we got a whole bunch of stuff happen this weekend with the KMCs. Right, we had 4 KMCs go on this weekend. Right, the biggest one was Texas, with Prince Rupert, I think, coming in second in terms of size. But the biggest thing that happened at the Texas one was we got showed Infernus the Emulator, right? Which is the Monarch card for fire. And in this set, we're supposed to get 2 Monarch cards, right? We're supposed to get Infernus, and then we're supposed to get Tritonus, right? Infernus is definitely a wicked card. That's the one I want to sit there and call it. I know when I first saw the card and we were talking in Dojo, and I was talking to a couple people through Facebook Messenger about it. My thing for the card was, instead of what it said, it should sit there and it should say, when this card comes into play, your opponent goes into scoop mode, and then they shake your hand for game or match, right? Pretty much everybody laughed at that particular comment. But it's a wicked card, you know, and it's definitely got to be something to sit there and be answered. That's for sure if it ever hits the ground, right? 11 cost for this thing, but we all know that dragons have Bottle, Herald, Hammer Dragon, Foulburn. I mean, just they got multiple ways to cheat this thing in, right? So cost really isn't a thing. You really want to get into it, and cool, you got ramp if you need to go that route. Next particular piece of it, the power of it's impressive. Crap, right? That thing's the biggest thing out there. I don't. Flame Spike Tatsurian can't even deal with it. Yeah. So that being said, 17,000 power. That's pretty legit, right? Then it's got 2 abilities, right? So the first one is the come into play effect, which is remove total amount of creatures up to 8,000 power, right? So you could remove multiple creatures out, remove one big one. It's really up to you at that particular point. You're deciding how that 8,000 power is going to get distributed. It's a triple breaker. Then its last ability, which is pretty nutty, is when this card becomes a target of a spell or ability by your opponent, break 3 of their shields. Well, that's ridiculous, but you know, now you're kind of required to have global effects going on. This discussion got really bad in Kaijudo Dojo on Facebook, to the point of I think they even just removed the thread off of there. It got really, really, really bad with some different things. But to me personally, you had to know that the Monarch cards were going to be stupid. Ridiculously stupid, because they're supposed to be the most powerful creatures in the Kaijudo realm currently, based on the television series, right? These guys are supposed to dwarf over the other creatures. To me, the card makes sense. Do I like that it's being able to be cheated in like it is? Personally, probably not. But I'm sure Wizards is smart enough, and the Kaijudo development team is smart enough to have answers for this thing in other cards. So do I think it's the end-all to the game? No. Do I think Monarchs are going to be the end-all to the game? No. They're all going to be different. They're all going to be uber powerful, wacky, out of this world type of card, but they're going to be cards that can be dealt with, you know. And I think you're going to see, as these Monarchs come out, you're going to see other ways for these different creatures to get cheated in, just like these guys are able to sit there and get cheated in as dragons, right? And let's just be really honest. Us players determine the meta. If we didn't want to play with dragons, we would throw dragons to the side and play something else, right? So we determine that piece. They may give us the cards, but it's us as players that determine what gets played and what doesn't get played. Plain and simple. We have no reason to sit there and complain. If we all wanted to sit there and say, hey, we don't want to play dragons anymore, we'll all put up our hands up and no decks with dragons, cool. But we as players go, no, we're going to play with dragons because we have that ability to take them to it. That's just what it is. But there will be answers for it, that I'm sure about. Whether it comes in this set, which I'm pretty sure we're going to get some answers to it in this set, and as it comes in other sets, I think you're going to sit there and see that. There are answers for everything. They just come in a circle. Whether you don't get them immediately or you get them later down the road, they're going to happen. So I'm excited as well because, I don't know if you guys saw on Facebook, it appears that something's going to happen at the KMC in Bakersfield, California. They said something about the veil opening up over Bakersfield. Check it out on Facebook. I'm pretty sure that's where they're going to release Tritonus. So that's my personal opinion. I wanted to go to that one. Work is not letting me go to that one. So, yeah. Whoever is at Bakersfield when this happens, please show it. Please do whatever you got to do to show off this card, because I'm fairly for certain you're getting that Monarch. If they've talked about what they did at, you know, Texas, and then you add in this particular piece for California, that would be the second card preview for the week, and that would be wicked to sit there and have that card by 2 weeks out from our set premiere. For everybody to sit there and kind of talk about and continue to sit there and gather things. So that would be cool. If someone's out there, please do that. Unfortunately, can't be there due to work. Sucks. That was probably one of the closest ones to me. But yeah. Anyways, so that's that there. All right. Pretty much that's all I got for this week's video. Dual days this weekend for the Washington area is a little interesting. Yeah, went 3-0 personally on Saturday. Played a Darkness, Water, Fire, Nature, Bottle deck. Not 4 color or 5 colors like everybody was playing this weekend, obviously, with the different decks that were out there. But I went 4 colors and did well. 3-0, right? So can't complain about that one. Monday's dual day for Fantasium was a little challenging because we just couldn't get it to bring up a tournament piece for it. I don't know why. So we're going to try again. I ended up taking and finding a way today to get something to take and work, so I'll have to input stuff directly in that way with the players in that we had. Try to sit there and do it manually to fix that particular piece, but I want to sit there and see Monday if this occurs again, because that was just weird for us. And to know that also a store south of us had the same issue Sunday night after the KMC, not for sure, but at least today it looked like I was able to sit there and do what I needed to take and do with it when we did a test inside of the store, so we'll see. Anyways, though, this is Chris from Team Squeaky here at Kaijudo Central. Later.